Alright, welcome to PMTH001, Contemporary Business Maths. So I'll be teaching you this semester. And let's look at the chapters that you're going to be covering. You will have basic arithmetic in chapter 1, where you have BODMAS, where you have to see which order of operation that you are going to be doing, which you do first, which you do second. Alright, then you have fractions, decimals, and percentages, where we will just be using our calculators to basically convert it from one to the other. Alright, and ratio, rates, and proportion. Alright, all three, the worded problems are very long and very confusing. Otherwise, the content matter is quite simple for all of these three chapters. Okay, then you will have chapter 4 and 5, which you have never done before, which is simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest and compound interest is basically you will learn two different formulas, simple interest formula and compound interest formula. You'll be learning the logarithm formula, and you'll be learning the difference between these two interest, how is it calculated and what is it used for, that sort of thing. And then you have growth and decay, which is exponential growth, exponential decay, where you will also be using new formulas like the exponential formula. Okay, and then the next one is algebra, where you will come up with using unknowns, you'll come up with equations. All right, and then graphs, drawing your y equals to mx plus c line. You've done that in school, but now the extension to it is break-even analysis. And then the last chapter, chapter 8, is linear optimization, where you have to draw lines, shade the region that you want, and find the coordinates around it. You have done this in school, all right? But it'll be a little bit more complicated this time around. Okay, so let's take a look at your coursework structure. You will have 3 progressive checks, 15%, 15%, and 20%. First progressive check is chapter 1, 2, 3, which will be in week 4, which is 3 weeks from now. And then you have progressive check 2, which is 15%, chapter 4 and 5, which is in week 7. And then 3 weeks later, you will have the last progressive check, which is chapter 6 and 7. Chapter 8 won't be tested in the progressive check. It will be given to you in your final exam. Okay, so let's start with basic arithmetic now. So we have these few learning outcomes here, 3 learning outcomes before we start. You have to understand the flow and order of operation. That means BODMAS, which do you do first? Brackets, orders, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. All right. All right. Okay, then you need to differentiate the difference between rounding and estimation. That means what is rounding up and what is estimation, which we will go along after this. Analyze, observe, and solve real-life basic arithmetic problems. So we will try to cover the first 2 learning outcomes today. Okay, so let's look at order of operations. What do you do first, second, and third? We start with brackets, then orders, then division and multiplication, left to right, then addition and subtraction. All right. Okay, so now let's try exercise 1.1. all right, so basically how do you do this? What is the dot there in the question 1? What is the dot? The dot is times, multiplication. All right, okay, so you just solve it from left to right, put everything into the calculators, follow the BODMAS rule and put it in one shot. It should, okay, punch it into the calculator one shot, and I should be able to actually get the answers there. All right, so let's look at a rounding up. All right, rounding up and down. I think this is also quite simple. 1 decimal place, you round up accordingly. 2 decimal places, you want to stop here. So what's after 8? 7. That's why you round off to 4.9. This one will be rounded to 7. This one is 6.65. So you round up to 1 dp. It will be 6.7 actually. If you want to round it to 1 decimal place, it will be 6.7. This will be 7.49. This will be 6.76 and respectively. All right, so it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, this term you must know. Tens, hundreds with the THS. Tens with the THS is 1 decimal place. Hundreds with the THS is 2 decimal places. Thousands with the THS is 3 decimal places. All right. Okay, what does nearest cent mean? Nearest cent means 2 decimal places. Nearest cent is what? Monetary value, right? When you go to the shop, you buy something. What's nearest cent? 2 decimal places. They'll tell you 28.75. What's that? 2 decimal places. Okay, let's try and complete this table as well. All right, so let's see. Okay. All right, so let's look at this table. The first one, nearest meter. What is nearest meter? Whole number. Nearest cent, 2 decimal places. The third one, to the nearest 10 cents. So nearest 10 cents means when you round off, the decimal place will have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. You understand? Nearest 10 cents. To the nearest dollar is a whole number. To the nearest hundredths of a meter, I just explained with the THS is the number of decimal places. Nearest hundredths of a meter will be to the nearest kilo, will be 2 decimal places. To the nearest kilometer, a whole number, all right? So you shouldn't be a problem filling this table up. Just follow the rules. So just remember all these terms because you'll be seeing it again and again and again. All right, nearest meter, nearest cent, nearest 10 cents, nearest dollar, that you should already know. As we are doing the questions, you will see that you will get this quite often. Okay, so these are the answers to it. The first one will be 58 meters. Second one will be 2859.49. The next one, third one will be nearest 10 cent, right? So 2859.50, the nearest 10 cents. Nearest dollar, 2859. Nearest hundredths of a meter, 2 decimal places. Now, that's what I was telling you about. You need to know the difference between rounding up and down and estimation. So what's estimation is when you estimate something, meaning when you're estimating, you need to basically round off each number to the nearest 100, nearest 10. You see, like when you round off, you only round off the final answer. But when you estimate, you'll actually round off each one of the numbers. All right, like the example you see down there. Example 549 plus 298. So 550, nearest, you round off to the nearest 10. So you round off each number and you add up. That is what you call an estimate. All right. Okay, so now we have case studies here, which is exercise 1.3. You have 6 case studies to follow up. So I would like you to do all 6 one by one slowly in class. So we will finish it in this class itself, all 6 case studies. And we will do exercise 1.4 where you will be estimating. So you can see from the example here, you round each value. 29 becomes 30, 35 becomes 40, 42 becomes 40, 16 becomes 20, then you add it up. So this is what estimation is. Do you understand? Okay, so we will, for today's class, we will complete everything until exercise 1.4. Okay, so we will stop at exercise 1.4. all right? The 6 case studies might take a little time, okay? But you should be able to manage it.